Hello guys, NautoAce here, and this is a follow-up on my opinion of Sony's content policy double standard. And the gist of that video is I kind of give sort of an opinion in response to the quoting about, well, one of the games that got released last week had, let's just say for me personally, was a reaction. And it involves a second protagonist character bonding with a NPC character. Let's just go with that one again. Oh boy. So, anyway, so yes, I am talking about The Last of Us Part 2. And if you've been following what's going on, reviews are out from people who actually bought the game. And if you look at Metacritic, you kind of see it's night and day. And yes, I do say that just decide for yourself, do you think the game is good or not? If one aspect you don't like, then make your decision. And when you see sort of a game that on Metacritic, and yes, I know probably most people say you shouldn't really take it seriously. You shouldn't really use it as a reference. But again, sometimes it kind of helps. It kind of gives you like a gist of an idea. Is that when the review score and the user score are night and day, then you might want to make a note about that one. And it kind of showed there. However, with that said, yes, the game, from what I heard, it's good. The graphic is good. I think the music is good. Characters, I don't know, but somewhere in the gray area. The biggest problem, and I did mention this before, about The Last of Us Part 2 is that the story went political. There have been a lot of political insert here, and they probably shouldn't, but again, potato. Yes, the director, probably his vision, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention the name, but he had a vision, and this is what it came out. You agree with him, you don't agree with him, it's your choice. So with that said, okay, so we're going to go back. Yes, the story is the major problem for The Last of Us 2, to some extent. Again, it's an opinion, potato. So with that said, can it be fixed? Can the franchise be fixed from this? And the answer is, in any franchise, any story, yes, everything can be fixed. A game can always be fixed from a previous numbered game to a new one. A good example, personally for me, is Dynasty Warrior 6 to Dynasty Warrior 7. Story-wise, I mean, if you know the Han Dynasty history, that's what it is. There's always been a what-if story, but that's been overly done in other Dynasty Warrior game. But the gameplay was a problem in Dynasty Warrior 6. A lot of people didn't like it. I didn't like it. Immediately after a while, I sold the game because this game just wasn't fun. So, Tecmo Koei, gotta give them props. They actually listened and they improved it in Dynasty Warrior 7, brought back the charge system, and you kind of get an idea when I'm going here. So, yes, anything bad can always be good. Okay, let's go with The Last of Us 2. Okay, The Last of Us, I've been playing the game. I'm not far yet, but I heard the story's good. Gameplay-wise, it's kind of, I can see why people like it. I started playing it, but again, backlog. That's all I'm always going to say. I'm always going to say that because it is true for me. Backlog. So with that said, of course, the story for The Last of Us Part 2 is controversial. Everybody knows that. That's already a fact. To some extent, I know. But the bottom line is, yes, because there's a lot of political insert in this game. Is there a solution to redeem this franchise? Definitely. Kind of like in Star Wars, you can do a damage control. So they could probably fix the storyline for The Last of Us Part 3. Let's just assume there will be for the PlayStation 5. And they might say, okay, you're going to get to play as Ellie again. And then maybe in the prologue, again, I'm just throwing it out there, just an idea. Abby is one of the characters. You know what I'm talking about Abby. Maybe she's the first boss, and you stop her, you defeat her, and, we're just going to go with this one and erase her. there you go. So that's, I mean, some aspect, and then it's going to be back to what Last of Us is all about. Let's go with that one. Other way they can do it is a multiverse timeline. They can say, well, timeline B, this is what happened. Maybe they'll do a game called The Last of Us 2. There's a subtitle, I don't know, I can't think of it right now. And they can say, this is what happened in timeline A, or a what really happened, and that the shocker is that The Last of Us Part 2 is a what if situation, and this new version, whatever, maybe an expansion or Last of Us 3, is what really happened, and that one of the main characters from the first game is, let's just say, survive. Let's go with that one again. I know I am almost going to spoil territory with this when I'm talking about, but like I said before, the game's already been out, so everybody who bought the game, they already bought it, and I'm not talking about the story. A lot of people already followed it. I have not watched the story, and I don't intend to watch the story. That's just me, but I'm just trying to find solution to how to redeem the Last of Us franchise. Like I said, it's either in the sequel, redemption, maybe like a plot twist. Last of Us 2 is a what if situation, and this new version is, oh, this is what happened. Again, multiverse timeline. Maybe this is timeline B, and that the real story in timeline A is that, yeah, the main character for the first game still survive, and you don't get to play the second character when I mentioned the name before, but you know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, there's a lot of solution there. What else I can think of? Retcon, there you go. I mean, that's the last resort. You do retcon, and I mean, what if, retcon, whatever. There's a lot of things they can do, so they can redeem the game. So again, we'll just have to wait and see. This is going to be a long while to see if they're going to do The Last of Us 3. But it depends on the sale for this game. I mean, yes, people who got review copy gave it a perfect score, which is, it's a possibility. People who finally bought the game and brave enough to give their honest opinion, I salute you. There you go. And again, I mean, it's a good, I mean, to some extent, it is, overall, from what I heard, is good. Like, if you look at most of the aspect, the points, the elements are good. It's just people couldn't bear the story. The concept behind it, the approach, yes, it's just unbearable from what I heard. Again, you can blame the director, but that's his vision. This is what he wanted. And it's just unfortunate that most people didn't agree. I mean, look at God of War. David Jaffe did the game. He didn't care what people think, but the only good thing was that David Jaffe and the fans were in sync. They were like, yeah, I like the game. I like what David Jaffe did. Look at Cory Barlog with the new God of War for the PS4. Yeah, there was a little bit of controversy because he made it to third-person view, but Cory Barlog justified it, and I did play the game, and yeah, it wasn't a problem. I think it's okay in my book. I mean, it's a different tradition, but it didn't break the game. And the story it's still great. It takes place after he defeated all the Greek gods, and now he decided to hide in, I don't know where the Vikings are, or the Norse god. That's why Thor and his kids, and Baldur, and, you know, you get the idea. So, yeah. So the bottom line is that anything that's bad can always be redeemed to be good. It'll probably going to take a long time. Maybe, like I said, in the PS5, maybe another 8 or 9 years, because that's how long from the first game to the second game. Maybe they're going to do an expansion. Like I said, they can alter the story, change the rule of the game, and still make it, well, facts, that's what it is. So they can either do a plot twist of what if, and this is what really happened, or they can just do a redemption, and they're going to fix the story. Kind of like from episode 8 to episode 9 of Star Wars, but I mean, it is what it is. They did what they could do, but whatever. There's a different story there. Or they could do different timeline, or like I said, push it to shelf, retcon the story for the second one, like it never happened. Push cut to shove, but that's really kind of like desperation when you do retcon. Like in my personal opinion, I would say a what if. Like The Last of Us 2 was a what if story, and that The Last of Us Part 3 actually is what really happened. So like actually that look, like I said, the main character of the first game survived. Ellie managed to save the main character of the first game. I'm not going to say the name because, again, people are sad already. I don't want to make them more sad about it. So, yeah, so we're just going to have to wait and see what happens on The Last of Us, the franchise. What's their next step? What's Naughty Dog's next step for this one? Will they choose the director again to do Last of Us 3? Or is it going to be someone else? And lastly, before I end this, is the Metacritic score. So, of course, the user score. First of all, Metacritic, why do you have an option to have a 0 out of 10? And the reason why you ask that is, when you give a game a 0, technically, in my personal opinion, maybe it's a different opinion for someone, is a 0 out of whatever score means it's not a game, it's not playable, it's broken, it's not a game, and why are you putting it on a gaming console? That's what it means if it's a 0. If you want a really super F score, you give it a 1. That's it. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 100 makes more sense. A 0 technically means, in my personal opinion, again, is a 0. I'm just saying there's weird. And also, review bombing, not cool. Don't do it. Be objective to the best of your ability, but yeah, review bombing, it's never cool. It also confuses your general consumer. Just saying to people who kind of do that, it's frustrating, I get it, but that's not the right way to do it. Be objective, be true to what it is, give it a 1. Don't just say the game sucked and be with that. You gotta give a reason. Make it more legit, because sometimes, like, believe it or not, for me, man, when I see something like a 0 out of 10 or whatever, and your reason is just, oh, game suck, SJW, oh, I can't believe I said that word, blah, 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 like that, I can't take it seriously. I'm sorry. It's just, you gotta give me some sort of pointers of why you gave this score. I'm just saying that. So, yeah, that's my follow-up thoughts on, can they redeem the Last of Us franchise from this? Yeah, they can. Is it going to be a long time? Most definitely. Only time will tell. So with that, I'll see you guys later.